So here's the question that I'm going to answer being asked. What is the number one cause over the years of counseling? We've been counseling marriages and husbands and wives for about 30 plus years. Well, actually more than that, almost 40. And what's the number one problem that marriages have? What's the number one cause of problems in marriage, and what's the best way to fix it and solve it? And that's a really good question. It's a really tough question, but I'm going to say this: the number one problem and cause of difficulty in marriage is selfishness. People only think of themselves, and they don't stop. And sometimes it's not on purpose. Sometimes we just overlook and we start thinking about our own needs, and then we get into trying to fix the other person and change the other person. And what I see very often, just in a practical sense, is one person's carrying most of the load in a marriage, and the other one's kind of not. Like whether it's the kids or the house or communication or the sexual end of it, they're just one's really putting out the effort, and the other one's kind of selfish. And I find that, and you know what, in almost every relationship, selfishness is the cause of church problems, company problems, marital problems, is just not thinking of the other person. And the solution to that, number one, is be born again so you can get the love of God on the inside of you. And I've seen more marriages helped by going to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, the love chapter, verses 4 through 8, and you get an amplified version, and you read that. You put that on a 3x5 card, and you read that when you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. And I tell you, if you'll begin to act according to 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8 in the Amplified, it will begin to change your marriage. One time I prayed to the Lord and said, you've got to change my wife. We were young in life. Helen had been married about a few months. I said, you need to change my wife. And I heard the Lord say inside of me, she is none of your business. You work on being the best husband you can be, and you leave her alone, and I'll take care of her. So that's my answer. It's selfishness, learning to just be a giver, learning to love and think of the other person.